Binge or Bin from Independent TV, giving you the lowdown on which TV shows are binge-worthy and which ones are bin-worthy. This week, we've been watching The Crown Season 5 and new miniseries Fleischmann is in Trouble.
And we'll introduce you to our pick of hidden gems we think you should be watching.
Annabelle!
Jacob, how's it going?
All good. I've been watching a lot of TV.
Right, well, let's dig into it. What have you been watching?
I've been watching the thing that I think everyone on Earth has been watching, and that is The Crown Season 5. And it brings the events of the royal family up to the 1990s. So we've got Imelda Staunton as the Queen, we've got Leslie Manville as Margaret, we've got Dominic West and Elizabeth Debicki as Charles and Diana. I'm happy to report that the acting is good. Imelda Staunton and Leslie Manville are extremely serviceable as the Queen and Margaret, and Elizabeth Debicki I think does a good Princess Diana. However, Dominic West lets her down somewhat. I think he's just doing Dominic West. He's not really trying to do Prince Charles, and it's just quite distracting when you're just watching Dominic West ham it up on screen. But, and the but is here, I don't think the rest of the show is half as good as it's been in the past. And I think maybe that's something to do with the fact that the time is catching up to the present, you know. So these are events that people will remember. And I think the old episodes would kind of shine a spotlight on a piece of history that we didn't know. Whereas now they're kind of exploring things that we probably know. So it's like things being reenacted that we knew were coming.
I won't go quietly. I'll battle till the end.
It started to feel more of an ITV drama than high-budget Netflix, must watch. Because of that, the whole thing feels like it's being stretched thin somewhat. Season 5 was meant to be the last. Peter Morgan, I think he wanted to end the show, but then maybe thought we could eat this out for another season. So I feel like now episodes that should have probably been multiple scenes within an episode are full episodes. And you just can't help but get the sense that you're watching something being dragged out and your time is being wasted a little bit. It's treading water, really, until I guess what will be what everyone wants to watch, which is obviously the tragic events related to Princess Diana's death, which the show is leading up to rapidly. But this season just feels like maybe a precursor to the main event. Maybe the 6th and final season will be as good as it has been in the past. But season 5 let me down.
I feel like I know where you're going. That is The Crown Season 5, a binge or a bin?
For me, it's a really easy one to say. It's a bin. I think The Crown is a bin.
It feels it's all about to erupt.
What have you been watching?
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint.
Oh, no.
But I've been watching Fleischmann is in Trouble, which is the Hulu adaptation of Taffy Brodesser-Akner's book of the same name. I can attest to her being a good writer, and so I really wanted to enjoy this adaptation. But yeah, I was kind of disappointed to find that it didn't really live up to the hype for me, and I think I was so excited because I like her writing that I thought it would translate on screen, but it just doesn't come together. The show follows Toby Fleischmann, who is a single dad, and his wife, who's played by Claire Danes, suddenly goes missing, or his ex-wife. And I mean, in another genre, this would turn into kind of a whodunit thriller, in the same vein as like Gone Girl or something. But this is much more concerned with like the everyday life and the problems that this kind of brings up, because he's like, who's going to take the kids to school? And it's a divorce drama. And there are some promising bits in there. All the performances are good. Jesse Eisenberg is good. But I do think he is just so unlikable, the character, in a way that is unsurpassable. Like, I can't be interested in him because of that. And I think in the book, from what I've heard at least, it comes across more, I don't know, nuanced. Whereas on screen, it's a little bit more flat and a little bit more, I hate this guy. Why am I watching this show?
At 4 a.m. 4 a.m. Sorry, I'm angry all over again.
Yikes, dude.
So the series, like the book, is also narrated by Toby's best friend, Libby, who's played by Lizzie Kaplan. And I think she saves a lot of this show from being Toby's story, just Toby's story. But I will say also that adaptation is quite heavy-handed. They're just shoving it down your neck. It's like really explaining it, and they're just so on the nose. And I think, for things like that to work, you really have to trust the audience that they're going to get it. Whereas this, it's like I felt like my hand was held the whole way through, and it felt like patronizing at times.
It sounds like the show Fleischmann is in Trouble is in trouble. with this verdict that is about to be given by you. Is it a binge or a bin?
Yeah, it's a bin. Very sadly, it is a bin. I just think it didn't captivate me. It is a bin.
I'm starting to think that it hasn't really gone on this long, you know?
What if something has happened to her?
2 bins, wow. Hidden gems are needed here, and I like these because we get to shine a spotlight on good shows that we think you should fast track to the top of your watch list. My one is a bit of a cheat. It is a new show actually, but it's tucked away on iPlayer. All 6 episodes are there, and it's really worth the time. It's called The English, and it stars Emily Blunt and Chasky Spencer, who you might know from the Twilight films, given a great role here as a Pawnee tribesman whose world collides with a woman from England who, in the Wild West, who is she's travelled to Kansas for revenge. I won't say any more, but it's a revenge Western. And when I say Western, I mean Western. This is 6 hours of pure horse riding, gunfights, saloons, with some real despicable characters that feel like they're straight from something out of the Coen Brothers film.
Not quite the woman I expected.
You're everything I'd expect of a man.
It's written and directed. I mean, this is a real vision of one man called Hugo Blick. And Hugo Blick, he writes and directs every episode. He's previously done The Shadow Line, which was on BBC Two. Back in the days when like Luther was on, and it kind of always was a bit under the radar. I think it collided with Luther and never really got the love it deserved. And he did The Honourable Woman with Maggie Gyllenhaal and Catherine Parkinson, which was a fantastic show. But here, it's worlds away from anything he's done before. This is really a love letter to the Western genre. And I mean, even if you don't like Westerns, I don't think it will be... You're not going to be emphatic in your love for this show. But it's just... The setting is just, for me, just jaw-dropping. Just the endless plains and the sand, and it's just really, it's escapism. And even if you don't like a Western, I think you should give it a go, because you might find something that you like when you didn't think you would.
Can you shoot?
I have to.
Oh, you'll have to.
So my hidden gem this week is also a bit of a cheeky one because it came out earlier this month. So I don't know if it kind of constitutes hidden, but I do think it didn't get the buzz that it deserved. So yeah, my hidden gem is The Devil's Hour, which is a show that's hard to pin down in genre. It's kind of part crime drama, part sci-fi thriller, and there's a good bit of horror in there as well. And I think what it does really well is it's not any one of those genres, but it's just got the best bits from all of them, and it never feels like it's trying to do too much. It's also a non-linear structure, which makes it really hard to explain and at first understand, but if you just stick with it for like 3 episodes, you'll come to grips with it. It follows Jessica Rain, who plays Lucy Chambers, a stressed out social worker. She wakes up at 3:33 a.m. every morning with having had like these dreams or nightmares that are so vivid that they feel like memories. And then in another storyline, you've got Nikesh Patel playing a detective investigating a string of homicides. And then in another, you've got the thick of it, a star, Peter Capaldi, kind of looking Hannibal Lecter-ish, being questioned by Lucy Chambers. I'm really reluctant to say like how these stories piece together, just because that's part of the fun, like watching it. And it never feels, I mean, obviously it feels a little far-fetched because of the genre, it's sci-fi, but at the same time, it's totally believable.
I know you feel out of place, like your life isn't your own.
You don't know me.
It's like a puzzle, putting it all together, and I think what distinguishes it is that it's actually a satisfying puzzle. It's not like Line of Duty where the final piece of the puzzle is, I don't know, just, you know, this is actually satisfying, and you come away from it feeling like you've done some investigating yourself and you know what's happening. It's a little bit creepy in the best way, and it's gripping, and it's kind of everything that a drama / thriller should be.
And in this delusion of yours, are you a time traveler or a fortune teller? Neither. I'm both.
Thanks so much for watching Binge or Bin. That is more than enough to keep you going until, you know, ultimately it was more than enough to keep you going until we see you again next time. Like and comment below and subscribe for more from Independent TV.